Hey everybody, welcome back to the Blockbusters show. I'm Adam Sykes, and today we're doing the next film of the Summer of Hsppy Madison that came out in 2011. And first we did Just Go With It, which was their generic Hollywood rom-com that took place in Hawaii, which was obviously just one big vacation. And now we've got a movie with an actual plot, so to speak. And it's the 2011 Kevin James vehicle, The Zookeeper.
Zookeeper.
I just want to say this about Kevin James, right? He is not as annoying as some of the other Hsppy Madison boys, like Rob Schneider, for instance, where every character is just this annoying, cartoonish stereotype. At the same time, Kevin James doesn't really play characters. Like, he doesn't do the Hsppy Madison, like, goofy voice, ha-sha-sha-boo-shee-boo. He doesn't do that. Like, even Paul Blart, which is his, like, trademark character, it's just him with a mustache, and that's it. And so with The Zookeeper, I can only assume this is made for, like, I don't know, families. It seems like it's a family movie. And of course, you've got the story of a guy who works at the zoo and he talks to animals. Usually in these kinds of films, they have it like he got bumped on the head, or he drank some kind of serum that gave him the ability to do this, or something. But they just have a throwaway line of, how long were you able to talk? And then the monkey, played by Adam Sandler, goes, well, today's Tuesday, so always.
How long have you been able to talk?
Let's see, today's Tuesday, so, always.
So the movie's conflict is that Kevin James has this girlfriend that broke up with him a couple years ago but wants to rekindle the relationship. And the reason that she broke up with him is because he proposed and she was like, no, you're not rich, you know, you're not the kind of guy I would go out with, you're a zookeeper. And then years later she's like, yeah, I want to start a relationship with you again. But, you know, I want you to start doing some things like this. And slowly she starts making him what he's not, starts having him work at a car dealership with his brother and, you know, wear a suit jacket and not be the fun-loving Kevin James that he is. Meanwhile, at the zoo, he's friends with Rosario Dawson, who's, like, really good friends with him, and she wants to be with him. But for some reason, he doesn't, like, pick onto it at first, and really, why is it that in movies like this, Rosario Dawson is always the second choice? Like, I mean, even in good movies like Clerks 2, even Pluto Nash got that right. Pluto Nash, which is debatably an even more hated film. Also, since this was 2011, Ken Jeong plays a character in it, and he's playing the kind of hangover, you know, oh, what's up, gay boys? He plays that in the movie, and it's like, Ken Jeong can be really funny in movies, but seriously, he was, like, doing that shtick way too often. I mean, this was the same summer that gave us this movie, Hangover Part 2, in Transformers 3, which he was in, and he was always doing that shtick, and it got really annoying. So the animals start talking to him, just based on the fact that they think he's a great zookeeper, they want him to stay and to keep his job, so they're like, we'll help return the favor to you, and we'll help you get your girl back. And here's where you find out that all these animals are voiced by major celebrities that Adam Sandler somehow roped into doing this film. I mean, you got Sylvester Stallone as the lion, the lioness is Cher, the elephant is Judd Apatow, Rudolph was the voice of the giraffe, one of the bears was Jon Favreau, and of course Adam Sandler was the voice of the monkey, doing a Gilbert Gottfried impression, and it made me wonder, why don't they just get Gilbert Gottfried? And then you got background animals that just show up and they're voiced by people you're like, wait, what are you doing here? Like, the late great Don Rickles is the voice of like a frog or a toad in one scene. The most obnoxious one is you have this awful running gag where you get someone who's really funny, Jim Brewer, to do the voice of a crow, and the crow's running gag is that he would show up and offer pretty reasonable advice, and then everyone would go, you're not a zoo animal! And they do it all throughout the movie, and it's never funny. So the animals start giving him advice so that he could get back with this girl that he likes, and they start giving him advice that's obviously aimed towards animals. You know, it's not just like, you know, assert your dominance, that kind of thing. No, here it's piss on foliage. And then of course there's a scene where they're in a fancy restaurant and, oh, there's a house plant and he pisses on it. And everyone, huh? What is he doing? And no semblance of critical thinking was put into that. Like, Kevin James just does it instantly. Another key element to the movie is that Kevin James has this special friendship with this gorilla played by Nick Nolte. And Nick Nolte as the gorilla was beaten by this asshole zookeeper played by Donnie Wahlberg, who all throughout the movie, he's acting like he's in a real movie. It was kind of like Sam Elliott in Marmaduke, where he was like one of the more compelling things in it because he's actually acting like he's in a legit film. It's like if you were to remake this movie and make it about this guy who is like a super unlikable asshole and you want to see him get his comeuppance, that would be a way more compelling movie, but obviously that's buried underneath the goofy, wacky comedy that's in this. The thing with the gorilla is there's a whole scene where they have an obligatory product placement for TGI Fridays where Kevin James puts a t-shirt on the gorilla. They say, oh, he's just a guy in a gorilla costume. We came back from a costume party. And they have a whole fun night out there in the TGI Fridays.
Shut up.
As for the voice acting of the animals, I mean, really, the animals barely do anything a lot of this film. A lot of it is focusing on Kevin James trying to get this girl back, and then ultimately finding out that he is in love with Rosario Dawson. And it just makes you wonder, well, why did they spend so much money and trying to get all these big-name celebrities to show up and just do a bunch of mushmouth for these animals? So one thing leads to another. Kevin James ends up getting back with his girlfriend, and ultimately he realizes, you know, this isn't me. Rosario Dawson is getting a job at another zoo, and she's about to leave, and so we get the chase scene where they're trying to stop her before she gets to the airport, and Kevin James ends up, you know, finding out what taxi she's in as they're going along the Brooklyn Bridge, and he confesses his love for her. They kiss, and oh, he's gonna stay at the zoo, and those two got together in the end, and all the animals are happy, and then the movie ends with the animals singing a Boston song. First we had the comebacks with the Journey song, and now this movie comes in with the animals doing karaoke to More Than a Feeling. Overall, I put this movie on par with Marmaduke, where it's not a good movie, but it's just a generic, kind of annoying family movie that obviously families are going to love. But, I mean, there's really no need for anyone to see this. I mean, even if you're a Kevin James fan, this isn't even as funny as some of the stuff I've seen him in when he was on King of Queens. It's not even like that level. At least Paul Blart Mall Cop has the kind of ironic meme value to it. This movie doesn't even have that. This movie is just bland in a lot of scenes. And the fact that the whole plot of the film of a guy that can talk to animals is kind of put into the back seat compared to this love triangle thing they've got going on. It kind of reminds me of movies that we've talked about before, like Flying Ryan or Skateboard Kid, where the main selling point takes a back seat to something that's just so uninteresting in the long run. If Just Go With It was Happy Madison's version of What's Your Number, this movie is Happy Madison's version of Marmaduke. And let me tell you, both of these movies are a warm-up trial, because in August we're going to be looking at the third and the last of these 2011 Happy Madison movies, and it's said to be the worst one. Yep, we're looking at Bucky Larson, Born to Be a Star. So that's coming in August. Until then, I'm Adam Sykes of the Blockbusters Show, and we'll see you guys in the next video.
What, 20 years ago? You haven't worked since.
Not true. I did a luggage commercial.